Thank you. Secretary of State Matt Schultz had a prior engagement as well tonight. He sends his regards, but tonight you get the next best thing. My name is Naomi Lyman. I'm the Regional Field Director for Matt Schultz for Congress. This is a really good crowd for such a nice night. You guys could be doing yard work or anything else. Thank you so much for taking time to become an informed voter. We have such a great field. I want to thank everybody also for coming in our field and the representatives. I would like to share a few reasons of why I am supporting Matt Schultz. When Matt was on the City Council, he led the charge to cut the city tax levy in Council Bluffs every year he was in office. He also cut over $1 million from the mayor's budget his first year in office. As Secretary of State, he's increased voting access for Iowa's military members. He has fought for election integrity, and in Washington, D.C., he will stand shoulder to shoulder with Steve King and repeal Obamacare. It's the only way to fix it. He will push for a balanced budget amendment, and he will also fight to put education back in control of the local communities and stop Common Core. Thank you again for coming. Please check out our website, voteMattSchultz.com. We have signs here tonight. I will also be in back at a table. We are working hard to get your endorsement. We've been hitting over 500 doors each day and calling over 1,000 people in this district each day. So we're just looking for your endorsement, and please remember to vote June 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Naomi Lyman, representing candidate Matt Schultz for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District. Next on our list, representing candidate Brad Zaun, is David Niffenegger.
Hi, my name is David Niffenegger. I'm representing Brad Zaun. He had a fundraising engagement he had to be at tonight. Otherwise, he was here during the day touring the town square. I think a lot of you met him, but he went around to all the businesses. And that's kind of where his heart's at, is a small business. He's always been a business owner. He owned a hardware store for 18 years. And the only reason why he got involved in government was because the government tried intruding on his private property and his livelihood that he supported his family with. So he ran for city council. Then he ran for mayor, and he was mayor for 7 years, and he actually became known as the tightwad mayor of Urbandale, because he judiciously looked after taxpayer dollars so much, which brought the taxpayers' bill down to the lowest in the metro. He's also been state senator. He's been authoring bills to fight against the Obamacare Common Core rollout, and he's also, a lot of people might know him for fighting against traffic enforcement cameras. So, but if you have any other questions, you're welcome to the lobby out there. We have yard signs, and you're welcome to come and talk to me.
Thank you, David Niffenegger, representing candidate Brad Zaun. Next on our agenda, the candidate is here to speak on his own behalf, Monty Shaw.
Good evening, folks. Monty Shaw. Grew up just down the road in Shenandoah, Iowa. Grew up on a farm down there. My dad was a John Deere dealer. My mom was a school nurse. I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm glad you're here tonight. And I didn't need GPS to get here. I might have actually had a prior engagement, but when folks said, hey, we're going to put together an opportunity for you to talk to the voters, I'm here because I understand that Western Iowa is important. I haven't grown up over this way. I understand that there's life outside the Golden Circle. Now, to be fair, I like Polk County. 53% of the voters live in Polk County, so I kind of love Polk County. But I also know there's life outside of Polk County, so I'm glad to be here tonight. As you try to figure out who to vote for on June 3rd, I'd ask you to think about 3 things. Who's going to be the strongest candidate to win this race in November? This is a targeted race. The National Democrats and their liberal allies want to win this as one of the 17 seats they need to put that oversized gavel back in Nancy Pelosi's hands. Anybody here think that's a good idea? 1? Okay, that's it. So they're going to have millions of dollars coming after our candidate. In fact, they've already reserved TV time for right after the primary to run TV ads. I wonder if that will be to say, hello, welcome to the race. So who can stand up to that scrutiny? I've spent 20 years dealing with the media in my various jobs. I know how to do it. Some people complain about the liberal media. I just figured, well, it's there, so you got to find a way to get your message through it, over it, under it, around it. And that's what I want to do. And we can't have someone that's going to fold under that scrutiny. So that's the first box you got to check. The next box you got to check is, well, you just don't want to elect someone because they're electable. You want to actually do something. They need to vote right. Quite frankly, there are some policy differences between the 6 candidates in this race, but we're all, share a lot of the same Republican views that you probably do. So I won't spend a lot of time about that tonight, but if you want to know where I stand on some of the issues, I'll be around afterwards. The final box you got to check is the effectiveness box. Who can be an effective advocate for us once elected? I'll be honest with you. I'm in this race because over the last 4 to 6 years, not so much in Iowa, but around the country, I've seen our party send people to Washington, D.C. who know how to pound on a table, who know how to shake a fist, spout out a bumper sticker slogan, maybe even put a press release out about it, and then that's it. They call it a day. Well, after you're through pounding on that table, you better figure out how to sit down around that table, roll up your sleeves, and work with people who you may not agree with 100% of the time, and figure out how to come together and change the direction. Because the fist pounders have not stopped any of these regulations. They haven't stopped Obamacare. They haven't stopped the spending. They haven't stopped the debt that's piled on my family and my 2 kids. And so that's why I'm here. I've got a track record, whether it was representing your county on the Republican Party State Central Committee for over 4 years, whether it is in my day job where I work with farmers and renewable fuels producers on energy policy. I've got a track record of bringing people together, finding where we can work together and doing that. So I want to be respectful. I want to earn your vote. I want to find ways to actually get things done. And I'm not afraid to take it on. If you don't think this race is important, then the gentleman back here in the middle who works for our opponent, Stacey Apple, wouldn't be here. So, yeah, hi. So I just have a message. If you go to Stacey Apple's website, there's a couple of words you won't find. You won't find Democrat. You sure won't find liberal. You won't find Obamacare. You won't even find, I don't think, Affordable Care Act. Now, you may find some policy positions from other people, but I just have to say, come on out, let's talk. Tell the people where you stand on this. Don't hide. Because we're going to stand up. We're not going to be afraid to take the fight to Stacey Apple and hold her accountable for her liberal views. And that's why I think I'm the one that checks those 3 boxes. And I'd ask for your vote to get this thing done and to get this country back on the right track. Thank you very much. Monty Shaw, June 3rd, IowensForShaw.com. And now you can throw that at me, so I better stop. Thanks for being here tonight.
Candidate Monty Shaw, seeking Republican nomination for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District. Our last speaker for the 3rd Congressional District will be Charlie Johnson, representing candidate David Young.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the Mills County Central Committee for putting this on this evening and for all of you for being here. That's a very good turnout. David sends his regrets. He could not be here this evening because he had a prior commitment in Des Moines, and that's where he is this evening. So he asked me to come here, which I live in Pottawatomie County, and I'm serving as David's Southwest Iowa coordinator here in Southwest Iowa. Some of you may know that David is the former chief of staff for Senator Grassley. And I'm very honored that he would call me 3 months ago and ask me to work for him. Because I'm a former congressional staffer myself, and that's where I got to meet David. And I know a little bit about him. He's a very conscientious person, a very dedicated person, honest, full of integrity. And I'm very honored to be able to support him and talk on his behalf here this evening. David is a very conservative individual. He's pro-life, pro-Second Amendment. He's a lifelong member of the NRA. He's pro-family, pro-business. And one of the issues that he is very proud of, that he worked on in Senator Grassley's office, and he tells the story that he was there when they received the phone call about Fast and Furious. And I'm sure many of you remember that, when guns were sold to the cartels in Mexico. And David, one of his goals is to watch the government that's watching us. And I think all of you can relate to that. David's background, I think, will really benefit him on day one. When he raises his hand and takes the oath of office, having the experience and working beside Senator Grassley and with Senator Grassley, he'll be able to start right away representing all of us in Washington. And another commitment that David makes, he said he's going to come back to the district every weekend because he wants to be in contact with you. Because David says he will not forget where he comes from. And the other thing he says, he's not going to be holding to John Boehner or Mitch McConnell, the leadership. He said he'll never forget the people who put him there because you are his boss. So it's really a pleasure for me to be able to support David. Like I say, he's been a friend for several years, and I think he will do an outstanding job if we give him the opportunity to represent us in Congress, and please vote on June the 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Charlie Johnson representing David Young. Ladies and gentlemen, those are our representatives being represented here this evening for the Republican nomination for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District. Let's give our candidates and representatives a round of applause.